Okay, welcome back. So today I'm going to be talking you through I'm going to be working on the E60 today, and I am going to be looking at trying to, the issue we've got at the moment with the E60 is we got it through its MLT, it's absolutely fine, but I have noticed a little bit of knocking coming from the bottom. Apparently the lower, the lower arms, which here is my little prop. The lower arms, this is my new one. So the lower arms on these things are apparently really prone to going. You see inside there all the detail. They tend to get all cracked up and stuff like that. And they can start knocking when that metal piece in the middle starts banging against the outside edge. That's a really common thing. So what I have done is I bought a new set of arms. And I bought some Polybushes. And I'm going to be showing you how to go from this, which is your standard, which is the new one, and cutting it up, which sounds completely and feels completely wrong, but then we're going to be fitting a nice new Polybush version for it to go on, and hopefully that will be more durable and will last a lot longer, and it'll be future proof as well to a certain extent. So I'm going to be going through the steps today, showing you how to get from standard, which doesn't last very long, to the Polybush version, which does last long. So you'll have to excuse the mess today, because today I'm working in the garage, and the garage is an absolute shithole. But what I did buy was these PSB problem solving bushes from eBay shop. These are the part numbers. As you can see, it's a pretty, if I could just get that out, it's a pretty substantial thing. It's quite chunky. There's a metal sleeve that sits in the middle there. So we're going to be squeezing that through, just using everyday household items in the garage workshop. Yeah, so let's get started. So yeah, the reason why I chose to do this video as well was purely because I had a quick look online. I knew what I wanted to do. It's what I usually do when I buy parts like this. I usually upgrade as I go, and Polybushes have been fantastic for the Golf, for the Mark IV. They've been brilliant. So again, a similar sort of thing. It's kind of change and upgrade as you go. It's good philosophy. It's served me well over the years and stuff. The Mark IV runs really, really well. I drove it just yesterday, and it still runs really, really great. So yeah, I had a quick look online. Couldn't find any videos on this. So it's a really difficult thing to do, which, to be fair, I've just showed you the other one, and I did do that yesterday. It took me a few hours, took me a few attempts, different ways of doing it, and all that kind of stuff, but I got there in the end. A bit of perseverance, got there in the end, and I'm going to show you the easiest route that I found that worked for me. And again, just using everyday items, scattered around in the garage, and hopefully, if you feel so inclined, you could probably attempt this yourself at home. All you need is some basic things. I've only got basic tools. I'm no master mechanic. I don't have a big setup, as you can see, because I'm actually in the shed, in the garage even, with the bikes and all the other crap that's in here. But yeah, so stepping over ladders, stepping over jacks and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, have a go. It's recommended, and I'll get started now. Stop yakking. So it's probably worthwhile. I've got a really crap Aldi vise, which I've had to G-clamp down because I ripped it off yesterday. So I've had to use a big G-clamp on it. But use a basic clamp, basic jack, if you've got one, would be ideal. Because I'm going to be using a tooth sort of bit to kind of cut through. But because it's not deep enough, I need to probably cut about halfway through, and then I need to flip it over and then cut through the other side, and then meet it in the middle, and then pull the center bush out. So that's what I'm going to be doing now. Here's the bit that's going to be doing the job. The actual drill bit fell out. There was supposed to be a drill bit in the middle, but it fell out. But I don't know if you can see that. Focus up. There it is. So it's a 44mm or 1 3/4 inch. And again, it's just another Aldi Special. You can pick these up from many places. I bought it as part of a kit. And what I'm going to be doing is drilling the centerpiece out. Kind of something like that. We're drilling that out of there, and then, like I said, flip it over and do the other side. So I'll get started on that. Water comes from. Look at all that. Get that middle bit out, and then we're going to attack these bits in here. So what you can't see, I'll show you, this is a metal ring which runs all around the inside of there, and the same on the other side. And then I'm guessing that the rubber is probably poured in and set with that in place potentially. So what we need to do is remove these metal rings now from this outside edge. So for this you'll need a saw. So like I said, it's just stuff from around the house. So I have got one of these things. I've got a metal blade in. Oh God, end of that. Must have done that yesterday. Anyway, so I'm still going to be using it. So metal blade, an electric saw, and I'm going to be cutting just on the inside. We don't want to go past this metal sheet, this metal shroud here just yet. We want to just be literally just cutting through just to the edge of it. And out it pops. That's metal. I can't even hear that. I think it's too coated in rubber, but it's definitely metal. You see that there from the cut. Next is cut through the rubber and try and cut some of this metal down to right there, and same on the bottom. And then what we're trying to do is just try and meet up in the middle, but without cutting the aluminium actual arm itself. It's a bit of a trick, but you can do it. You can do it if you're careful with it. See that? Okay, now bring it down again. You see that I've just stopped just short of the bottom. So I've done the top and the bottom, and now we want a line just in the middle to be careful to not cut this knuckle. So I need to just be careful now. So fortunately I spotted that the battery had died. So it wasn't the end of the world. I just literally stopped what I was doing, stuck the phone on charge for a while, and here we are, we're back again. We're up to 50%, so I think that's enough to kind of finish the job. So just to let you know, I did progress a little bit, but not much further past what you already seen, to be honest with you. I've got to the point now where you can just about see that the metal is just starting to break on either side. Okay, that's where you kind of want to get to. So not so that you've cut it all the way through properly, because obviously you don't want to damage the aluminium housing. But what I am going to do now is I'm just going to take it down to the floor, and with a little tap of a hammer, it should start to come free, because that metal in the middle there should be weak enough now. Should be weak enough now, and the metal in between should be weak enough that I can start to fold this out of the way, and the whole thing should start to come loose once it breaks. Okay, finally got to a point now where it's completely loose. You can see it's started to pull through already. Just gonna tap that out. And it's out. And there's absolutely no damage to the inside of there. It was a bit of a fight. There's a little bit of a nick there. I'll file that down, that's not an issue. It was a bit of a fight because I hadn't actually cut it all the way through, so I had to break the metal with the screwdriver, so it shouldn't have been as butchered as it looks. But yeah, it's just having that confidence to keep cutting, but know you're not cutting into the metal, you know, of the aluminium here, because it's really soft. It's just having the confidence to keep going. So yeah, there you go, it's out at least. Just going to give this a little bit of a file, a little bit of a tidy up, and then I'll be ready for inserting the new polyurethane upgrade. I'll go in there. I'll show you that bit in a sec. So what I have got is a little piece of threaded bar. It is approximately 160 mil, 16 centimeters, or 16. Sorry, it's 6¼ inches approximately. And I find that this is the perfect length to do it. I've got a couple of washers on there, a couple of nuts, and it is just the right length if I wind that all the way up to the end. That's good. And then this, I took off the coilover kit. I took off the old kit when I replaced it for the new. This was a huge wash that was left, and it was just discarded in a box just underneath, which you can just see the edge of the box there from the coilovers. This was still in there. So this is actually perfect. So if you can get something similar to this, this is a 70 mil-ish, 70 mil, 7 centimeters, or 2 3/4 inch, and that goes over the top of there. I'm going to do that slightly concave, so I'm going to do it that way. Then the bush. Oh, in fact, yeah, the bush. Now this bit you might like, or you might not like. So I mentioned earlier I had my hole cutter. This one was the 44 mil. Yeah, there it is, 44 mil. So I went to a, you know, DIY outlet place of your choice. Went to there, got I've got another one, but on this one it looks a little bit battered now. I only bought this yesterday, but this one I've grown the teeth down on. So this is purely to sit on the other side of this to allow me to put the lower arm roughly in place. Remember the slightly tapered edge. I'm going to put that there. This is proper homebrew mechanic stuff, this. This sits on this side. This one's a 76mm. And it sits, whoa, don't drop it. And it sits perfectly over the edge of there. It sits perfectly. So 76mm, if you're going to do the same sort of things. This is a 76 and a 30mm, 38mm, 76 diameter, 38mm depth. And I found that that is absolutely spot on for doing the job. That slots on top of there. As you can see, it's just enough. And then get my top nut, do that up. Oh, in fact, what I should have done, going back a bit, getting ahead of myself, what I should have done, is taken my little bit of lube supplied by the Bush people. And put just a smear on the inside of there just to help things skid around. I think it's the kind of stuff where a little bit goes a long way, because the sachet itself is actually really tiny. And considering this is going to be doing two bushes, you've got to be quite sparing with it. So that's that. Cut all that tapered edge. And I'm going to put all this back together. So tapered edge to the top of my bush. Come on. Not enough arms. Yeah, something that looks like this. You can just nip it up, finger tight. Sorry, I had my grease sachet in my mouth. Just whip it up, finger tight, so that this is seated perfectly, centrally. This looks like it's seated centrally as well. And then, oh, my back. A little bit more grease around this. Give it a bit more skid. And just round the edges as well. All the way around. Make sure we get it inside that little crease around the edge there. Then we take our 19-inch, start winding it up. Help if I grab the 19-inch end. And once it pops, it gets nice and easy again. There you go, it's just gone. So it's started to make its way through the housing now. So the end that was on the opposite end to this is now making its way through, so I can feel with that grease now it's just allowing it to slip. It's gone really loose. Just pulls it through. Sorry if I'm breathing a bit heavy. Having to balance everything and get the action in the camera. There you go, and it's gone. I can now widen that out. That's a bit of a tight fit on the end of that bush. A little bit of excess grease, which is fine. I'll just smear that around. Best tool in the garage today. And that is done. Check that out. Nice. There's this bit which just needs to go in the end of there. So with the last little bit of grease, I'm just going to lube this thing up before it goes in. And it should just skid in nice and easy, because the other one did. So we're literally out of grease now. To be fair, I think any old grease will do. But seeing as it was supplied, I'm trying to stick with it. So give that a bit of a coat. And try not to drop it on the floor in the pile of shit down there. It just goes in there. It does. It just goes in nice and easy. Push it with your fingers. He says. There we go, nearly in. Cool. And that's it, it's done. Now the easy bit, fitting it to the car. So that's it. The two Polybushes are now in. They're ready to go, ready to fit on the car when it finally stops raining. I'll update with a video as and when I get around to that. The whole process probably took me about an hour per side. Well, to be fair, the first one took me a little bit longer because I tried different ways. I tried using the pulley to pull the whole thing out, but then when I eventually got annoyed with that, I ended up cutting into it with the hole cutter, and that's when I realised there was a metal band inside holding it all together. So it's definitely the quickest way. It takes me, like I said, about an hour. So I could probably get a side done per hour. A side done per hour. And yeah, just install is next. So yeah, if you've got any other BMW, they all tend to work the same way, so it's across most, if not all, of the BMW platform. They've got that kind of lollipop bush style thing. The lollipop I know on the E36 used to be an actual thing that was bolted on separately, but it was that pressed bush that I'm sort of referring to. It kind of applies to most of the BMW platforms, definitely of this era anyway. So yeah, hopefully you found this video useful. Drop me a like and comments, and I'll see you soon with an update.